I went full Joker on you, baby. Here we go. It's vulnerability tonight. Let's rock and roll. A lot of people wear masks and they try to be something they're not, because I got some pretty amazing phone calls about people that were telling me that they're being something they're not. So I thought about it and I was like, well, there's a lot of people that wear the mask. They want to show who they are, but they have this mask on. Todd, how did you all of a sudden get out there and be vulnerable? I was living a life of something that I wasn't for a very long time. And I never really gave myself the time or the respect enough to be something that I already was. I wanted to be myself. I wanted to be more. I'm going to get extremely vulnerable about my life and certain things that I've never told anybody. And I'm about to put them out there to the world live. Judge me if you want. That's okay. I've made these mistakes. It's literally because I feel like I owe it to you, but more importantly, I want to be comfortable in my own skin. I want to be me, right? So I'm doing this as a little selfishness portion of me, but I want you guys to be a part of it because you've been absolutely amazing people. So that's why I had the Joker face on, about to take the mask off and get super, super real. Hope you guys will join me. As a lot of us always live in our lives being something we're not, or we're trying to be something we're not. And I'm going to tell you guys some pretty life-touching stories of me growing up, of how I was trying to be something that I wasn't, and I hurt a lot of people in the long run. I tried to do things in my life because I either wanted to be cool or get ahead or be in a better place than others, or just trying to literally be someone I'm not. And nowadays, there's so many of us trying to be someone we're not. We are going to be talking about poker games tonight as well. We're going to be getting into the gambling, horrendous lifestyle that I lived for a very long time. But we are going to be getting into some underground stuff that a lot of people may or may not have known about me, and some bad choices I've made in my life that have haunted me for a very, very long time. It's about time we get real. I am being judged regardless of what I do. So being myself makes happiness easier to obtain. You're being judged no matter what you do, what you say, how you act. If you're a saint, you are being judged. If you're the Pope, you're being judged. If you're the president, you're being judged. I am being judged regardless of what I do. So being myself makes happiness easier to obtain. Especially since we're powerhouse entrepreneurs, we're trying to flex on people right now. I'm not into this motivational bullshit. I'm not into this uplifting stuff. And as we get older in life, and I know a lot of you can agree, as we get older in life, we realize that we should have bought into some of this stuff a lot sooner. I was literally in tears telling my story tonight because I've done a lot of bad things, man. I've done a lot of bad things in my life, and some of them is going to be the first time I'm going to bring them out tonight, and I'm going to do it online, so I don't care. You judge me, don't judge me. I love each and every one of you. I will live my life on my terms, not someone else's. You've got to live your life on your terms, not for your spouse's significant other, not for family members. You've got to live your life on your terms. The only way that you're going to succeed in life is if you 100% live your life your way. You can take advice from people, but if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't make you feel good inside, don't do it. I've cheated, I've stole, I've literally done some to family members, to people that I've loved, because I was trying to live a life on someone else's terms. I saw how other people were living and I wanted to live that way. Guys, being myself is the only way I'll ever be truly happy. When you're wondering if you can do something, think about those people out there that are literally fighting for their lives, still winning. They're still winning. And they're not making excuses. They're not doing things to act as if there's someone else that they're not. They had the right, they had the power, they had the courage to tell me their story. Someone that they don't really know, to kind of be with me and say, this is what's going on. I want to be vulnerable. I want to tell you, I want to show you my weaknesses so I can elevate them and be stronger and be better. Guys, that's about as vulnerable as it gets. I'm going to ask you guys a question. How can you expect to thrive? How can you expect to win at life if you're not honest about what you're struggling with? What do you think you're sacrificing by trying to be something that you're not? What are you sacrificing by trying to be something you're not? You're sacrificing everything. The other day, a friend of mine and I made a phone call, and we got on the phone. We called another friend who we knew was struggling. We get on the phone with that friend, and then all of a sudden the next day the friend posts something super positive, and you could see the change instantly. And we were like, dude, now that's what it's about. It wasn't someone handing you thousands of dollars. It wasn't, trying to beg someone to buy your stuff. It wasn't any of that. It was just sitting down going, that person needs us. How can we help? You can see when people are fake. You can see when they're trying to be something that they're not. I had another conversation with a person the other day that said, she goes, I said, I feel like I can feel people. And I don't know if that sounds stupid or not. I said, this may sound stupid. I feel like I can feel people. Like when I'm with them, I can feel their energy. I can feel that they're hurting. I can feel their pain. I can feel something in them. I can feel it, right? I just know that I can feel something in them. And she was like, no. That's not weird at all. People can feel energy, but you have to dive into that feeling. You got to understand that, because what happens is that vulnerability opens you up to all sorts of judgment. People have been texting me and telling me like, Todd, listen, you can't be something you're not. I said, well, who the hell are you to tell me who I'm going to be? You've seen what I've been what I've been faking to be for decades of my life, trying to be the hardcore closer sales guy. You've seen that in me. You've seen me be the tough guy downtown. Guys, I was the sorest loser on the planet when I used to lose money at anything. I used to cuss at people. I was taking steroids. I was super upset. And I would literally just yell and scream and throw cards and chips at people like a child, when there's grown men sitting across the table from me, losing thousands of dollars and just saying good hand and moving on. I kept saying, why can't I be that way? I'd be the worst drunk on the planet. And then I'd apologize. Like every single time I'd apologize the very next day, because I was trying to be someone I wasn't. I dove in to try to be a tough guy. Why? Because I thought it was cool? No, I embarrassed my family. I embarrassed my friends. I can't imagine how they felt seeing me be that jerk that I was. I can't imagine them seeing that. I can't imagine them seeing it. Oh, I'm a tough guy. I've got tattoos. I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. Is it cool that you think you make someone feel like shit? Is that cool? That makes you... I was hiding insecurities. My vulnerability was non-existent. I wasn't vulnerable. I was putting on a mask. I embarrassed my friends. I embarrassed my family. I wake up the next day in tears knowing I was an asshole. How many of you have been there? How many of you have woken up, you've made a horrible mistake, and then you wake up and you got to apologize and you're dreading it because you know you're an asshole? Do you know how many times I try to fight and argue and try to justify my actions? How many of you have tried to how many of you have ever tried to justify something when you knew you messed up? God, man, I mean, in the embarrassed life that I lived for so long, I get out of the poker world. I get in the timeshare world and I start crushing it. I crush it in the timeshare world. Guess what happens? I start writing motivational posts for my team of 8. Then a team of 10, then a team of 16. Then I'm a manager and a director and I'm writing these motivational posts, and everybody that saw me from downtown as the tough guy that fought people and acted like a drunken, belligerent idiot, the sorest loser gambling on the planet, looked at me and goes, dude, you're writing motivational posts? Is that a joke? Is it a joke that you're trying to change people's lives when you're the first person punching someone because you're a drunken idiot? Are you kidding me? Like, you're gonna motivate people? Guys, I know a lot of people out there that can't hold their liquor, that won't admit it. I know a lot of people that have drug problems that won't admit it. I know a lot of people that have literally changed their lives and are now living the most powerful life that they've ever thought of because they had the guts and the courage and the respect for themselves and the people they love most just to admit it and move on. It's about being vulnerable. And a lot of you on here are going to say that you're being vulnerable, but you're not. Exposing your weaknesses is the only chance you're ever going to get to be strong. You think you're strong because you're not telling people about your failures? You think you're strong because you're not being honest with yourself because you've got to put on a front to be someone that you're not? The only reason why people were telling me that I'm not a motivational guy, wasn't lifting people up, is because I had a mask and was living a fake life downtown, being depressed and drunk, trying to put on a show of someone I wasn't. But had I been the guy that I always knew that I'd been, this guy right here, right now, had I been this guy, they would lift me up in praise and say, Todd, you're changing lives. That's what you're supposed to do. Do more of that. Do more of that. We go through life thinking that if we expose our weaknesses, they're going to judge us so hard that people are not going to accept us for who we are. Guess what, guys? They're going to judge you anyways. If you're a saint, they're going to judge you. And let me tell you where that comes from. That's ego-driven at its best. That's stubborn people who do not want to get vulnerable with who they are. You know how many times that I put people I love in positions because of mistakes I've made because I didn't want to be who I was? Do you know how many times? I've lost count. Until I decided to take a stand and lose my ego. If you want to be strong about something and be strong about vulnerability. Because there's a lot of you on here right now that are going to that are thinking to yourself, that's me. I've made these mistakes. I don't want to admit them. Guys, I haven't even got started. You have to understand that there's nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And in my journey to growth and in my journey to doing what I want to do best and changing lives, what I've realized is that I am so far from perfect, it's not even funny. I feel like all of us have to think that we're perfect. We have to believe that we are. Something in us makes us think that, no, that's okay. You made the mistake. And what do? You compare your mistakes to other people's mistakes so you can do what you can to justify your actions so you don't feel worse about who you are. We compare our mistakes to other mistakes that people have made so we can justify our actions to make ourselves feel better about who we are. That's what we do. It's better to be imperfectly me than trying to be someone I'm not. Guys, listen, the minute I accepted, right, the fact that I'm going to make mistakes, and we're going to get into something that not even my mother knows till this day, and I'm going to tell the world right now. So, we didn't grow up with a lot. I've told you guys this in the past. My parents were the richest people in love. They just didn't have a ton of money. We lived a great life because my parents loved us. Literally, they loved each other more than two people could ever love each other. And I've told you guys this story, I'm sure, a million times. Because it's the best love story on the planet, my mom and dad. So I'm going to tell you this story because I'm going to be vulnerable about who I am so you guys know me as a person, right? And the mistakes that I've made. And a lot of you might be afraid to do this, so I'm going to do it. And whatever way it goes, that's okay, because I'm finally okay with being imperfectly me. And I lived in an area where the kids that went to my school had money, and we didn't. So when my friends would go out and we'd buy alcohol, or they're wearing polos, or they were wearing, nice clothes back then, my parents didn't have a lot of money. So I would literally go into Dillard's and I would steal clothes. I'd go into the dressing room. I'd wear baggy pants. I'd put jeans on. I'd put two pair of jeans together. I'd walk into the dressing room. It looks like I have one pair. I'd put the pants on. I would put my baggy pants over those jeans. I'd go out and put the jeans back on the rack, and I'd walk out. And, this was Guess, or some of you are my age, Z Cavarici. Good stuff, right? So I'd steal the jeans. I'd walk out because I knew that if I didn't have the cool jeans, I couldn't hang out with the cool kids. Cool jeans, cool kids, right? Then you're cool. You got the cool jeans, you can hang out with the cool kids, and then you can be cool, right? That was the pressure back then. I was about 16, 17 years old, and my dad, had this pinky ring. It was a white gold ring, and he loved this ring. He only wore it on special occasions. And I knew at 17 years old that, you know, other of my friends had cars and they had all the polos and the girls liked the kids with the polos and the nice cars, etc. And then one day, my friends were going to the Lake of the Ozarks. I lived in Columbia, Missouri at the time, didn't have any money, so I stole my dad's ring that he loved and I pawned it so I can get cash to go hang out with my friends for one weekend at the Lake of the Ozarks because I want to hang out with cool kids. It's been haunting me for so many years. You know, I get there and I say to myself, like, why would you ever do that? Like, and then I say, oh, I was a kid. Bullshit. Bullshit. I knew what I was doing. At that time, I valued being cool over the love my dad had for that ring. My hero, my hero in heaven. So, so I do that, and then my mom, who didn't have a lot of money, would leave her, you know, her purse open sometimes, and I'd see a $20 bill, and I'd take that. And if I saw her take that, not realizing that that $20 bill was the only money that my parents had to buy groceries and to put food on the table and to help us, you know, do things that we needed to live, like, you know. So maybe that's why when I was so young, I fought so hard to help provide, because I was guilty. So I stole from my parents. A thief. I was a thief. I stole from them. There's no other way to put it. I stole from them. I lived this life and I realized that I'm not okay. You cannot judge yourself because other people are already going to do it. Other people are going to judge you for you. So for years and years and years, right, I've held this over my head because I put myself in a position to think that I'm this piece of shit, this dude that stole from his own parents to be a cool kid. You have to know that it's okay being imperfectly you. And the only way you can do that is to forgive yourself for things you've done in the past. You have to be comfortable knowing that it's okay to say, I messed up. It's okay because guess what? The people you're telling you messed up to have messed up too. But they're not strong enough to say it. They're not strong enough to go, you know what, dude? I messed up. I made a mistake. This is what I did. I'm okay with who I am. I'm okay with the mistakes that I've made. I'm okay with the choices that I've made. I'm okay with everything that I've done in the past. Was it right? No. Did I hurt people? Yep. But I refuse to live a life in jail. And when you don't admit and you can't fully forgive yourself, then you're living a life locked in jail. And you just throw away the key. You want to find the key? Forgive yourself.